No, anxiety about the election is at an all-time high, and that's not really good for anyone, regardless of who you want to win.
Joining us now to talk about ways to cope and how to move on when the election is over is Dr. Ariela Reder, the head of counseling at Quinnipiac University. Thank you so much for being with us, doctor. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
You know, one of the things you say is that we should actually normalize this anxiety. Does making it feel like, hey, this is what everyone's going through, does that help?
I think it does. I think anxiety is something that we all experience. And actually, it's a very natural and normal reaction to have when something is uncertain or scary. And I think for some people, I guess most people, anxiety is just a way that our body responds. And so we accept that it's part of the reaction we may have. And so it doesn't feel as scary and overwhelming as it might be if it feels like it's something that we shouldn't have or shouldn't feel.
Be forgiving of yourself. What does that entail?
I think that some people feel that they should be doing more or less or different. And so accepting that we all are human and there are limits to what we can do or can't do. And so forgive yourself when maybe you didn't go to that extra step, or maybe you weren't sure about what other steps you can do or change the reality we're in. So forgive yourself and be okay with what you have done and know that you've done enough.
And as this goes on, because we may not know everything on election day, it may be a process. You say we sort of need to plan for that uncertainty?
Yes, because I think some of the hardest things for people is when we don't know what to expect, when we don't know what is happening, right? As human beings, naturally, we feel that we need order and predictability. So when things are unpredictable or uncertain, we get a little uneasy. We don't really know what to do. And so it's helpful to prepare for that and to know that, you know, as all the experts are telling us, it's not very likely that we're going to know the results today or tomorrow. And so prepare for that and not have that expectation that before I go to bed today, I'm going to know exactly what to expect and what the next day is going to bring, because we're not likely to actually know that.
I love even though we're in the media, you say don't constantly check in, don't barrage yourself with overwhelming amounts of information throughout the day.
I do say take a break, because yes, it is important to stay informed and to know what is going on. Obviously, the election is a very important thing to kind of keep track of. But also, every 2 seconds, we all know that the news cycle, no offense, sometimes can be repetitive, and it can be very anxiety provoking when you keep hearing the same thing over and over again. So take a break, go do something else, and then come back and check in. Don't constantly refresh your browser and wait for that color to change or for that announcement to be made. It's okay to do something else and come back to it.
Yeah. And I love this. You say we should shift helplessness to hope by focusing what we do have control over. How would that apply perhaps right now? What if your candidate doesn't win?
Well, if my candidate doesn't win, which is possible because we all know election, it's democracy and we all get to have a voice. Hopefully you went and voted. Then I think about what it means for me personally. What are the things that I can do? Maybe I can get active in a particular cause that is important to me. Even if my candidate didn't happen to have won, I can take action locally, personally. I can do something in my community. I can organize friends to do something about a cause that I care about. It doesn't have to be, just that one candidate that can do something. So there's a lot that we can do, and it's important that we remember that.
And stick with people with like minds and kind of stay away from people that you don't agree with.
Well, that's not exactly what I said. I said set boundaries.
No, you did. You changed it. You said set boundaries. And I think that's important because we do have friends. Everyone has friends that probably on other sides of the spectrum. So that's what's hurtful is everyone feels so divided. You say we need to set boundaries, but you don't necessarily just excommunicate people from your lives.
No, of course not. There are plenty of families out there that maybe, as we're getting closer to the holidays, may not all agree. We remember the Thanksgiving 4 years ago. We had families who may not have really wanted to have conversations about politics over that holiday, dinner, and that's okay. It's okay to say, you know what, let's put politics aside today and be together with friends. Because at the end of the day, I really do think that we are all in this together, whether you vote this way or that way. We all have to figure out how to move forward, accepting the results, whatever they are, and really find a way to find, how we can connect, what are the things that we have in common, what are the things that we really, want to share with each other. So yeah, set boundaries, make sure that if the person you're meeting with is not someone that you see eye to eye on every single item, then maybe look for the ones that you do agree on. Maybe look for the things that you have in common. Maybe you could talk about a hobby that you share. We don't have to talk about politics all the time.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And even if it is election day, I think that finding that shared bond that we're all American and everybody cares about democracy. And one of the ways is people are turning out in droves. We have a high turnout, so at least people are voting. I mean, focusing on that, everyone's being more engaged this year.
I think that's, if nothing else comes from this election, having people engage and exercising their voices, which, it's something that we encourage all our students to do as well. We definitely want to make sure that our students are healthy and well and have a chance to speak their mind and also get support when they need to. So, definitely for Quinnipiac students, they have a lot of resources on campus that provide that support and help them if they need to talk to someone.
Doctor, we're out of time, but we want to thank you so much. And yes, we need to all focus, take a breath, and focus on how we can unite rather than divide. I like it.
Take a breath, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Doctor.